It says it's recording. It'll be this like nervous thing where after we're done, I'll be like, hopefully Zoom will email me the link to find this thing, but it's recording to cloud. We all see it says recording, so hope for the best. Okay, so how about I'll just start the show. I just have to do at the begin. Oh yeah, a couple of really small things. So at the start, I just have to say it's like presented by Dobber Hockey. So I'll just like get through that. Maybe I'll be like, with me is maybe at first like I'll just like introduce Ben and say Brian's coming, and I'll say other people are here, but I won't like introduce you guys. Then I'll like say it's presented by Dobber Hockey, whatever, and then like I'll kind of like throw to Ben, and then you'll take over as the host, and you could like introduce the people or whatever.
Yeah, sounds good.
And the other thing is, at some random point, we need to do an ad for DraftKings. So I guess at some point I'll just why don't we just pick a time now? Like how about like after the third round, let's say.
Let's do after after
rounds.
4. Yeah.
Sure.
And then we can decide if we need to like go into speed mode. Let's do why don't we pick a time that we want to go to a break rather than a round?
Sure. I'll leave it to you. The rule is it needs to be around the halfway point of the show.
Okay.
So
I think also we could do introductions as we announce the first round of picks. Let's do that.
Okay, sure.
Combine them.
And also remember, Ben, to just let me know if you want me to pause the draft at any point or something like that. Or I could also like reverse the pick if someone makes a mistake. Like, we won't be like, anyway, yeah, it'll be cool. All right. So how about let's just start? See how it goes?
Yep.
All right. Yes! Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Keeping Karlsson Fantasy Hockey Podcast, the best fantasy hockey podcast in the world, hosted by two guys on Eric Karlsson and their keeper pools. I am your host, Elon Dubrovsky, and with me currently is not Brian Com. He'll be here very soon, but in the meantime, I've got a whole room of people that you're going to meet and enjoy. But the first person I'll introduce to you is someone you know very well. If you listen to our short shifts episodes over the past season, it is our good friend, Ben Burnett. Ben, welcome back to Keeping Karlsson.
Thank you so much, Elon. I was here like 1 week ago doing a Patreon cast with you that I did that get released on YouTube for everybody?
I believe it did, yeah. So some people might have heard Ben just last week as we sat for a couple of hours watching a Habs Flyers game that was super boring, and so we talked about a bunch of other stuff. But it was fun to talk to you then, and I'm excited to tell people about what we're going to be doing with you today.
Yeah, me too. To quote Drake, I am going back to back on Keeping Karlsson episodes, so feeling stoked.
Yeah, well, there's no one better. So Ben is here, and here's the plan. Brian and I have been talking about the KKPP, the Keeping Karlsson playoff pool. We've been redrafting every single round, eliminating people as we go and reshuffling. So now this new round of NHL action is about to start even sooner than we thought. It was potentially going to be the game like 1 of Dallas, Colorado today on Saturday, and there was going to be game 7s tomorrow. But then I guess Philly and Vancouver decided to just clean that up for us and make it nice and simple. So I guess thanks to them. But yeah, so now we have our next draft, and we decided one of our final 4 divisions, we're going to draft live on the show. So we're drafting just for the next round. It's all people who were in the top 4 in their last division. And I guess we'll introduce the participants as we go. But 2 of the participants are myself and Brian, who have both, we didn't rig it, I promise. We earned our way here. And yeah, as did all these other cool people that you'll meet soon. Before we get to that, of course, let's mention that Keeping Karlsson is presented by DobberHockey.com, the #1 fantasy hockey website in the frickin' world. I've been really enjoying all of the content they've been putting up there all throughout the playoffs. You got your daily ramblings, just talking about everything that's going on. And, they put that fantasy focus on it. So, not only what's going on in terms of interesting stories, but how you should take away what's happening in a fantasy lens to help you in your leagues next year and beyond. Kind of what we try to do on the podcast, right? So Dobber Hockey, it's the best. Plus we use all their tools over at Frozen Tools. So if you're not using it, you're probably not like that great at fantasy if you've never heard of DobberHockey.com. So definitely check it out. But with that, Ben, at this point, I'm a drafter, and you're the host of the show. So I'm going to kind of hand the reins over to you, and don't take us off a ledge.
Yeah, I guess what I'll start with is just by previewing what's about to happen. So the draft is about to take place. We have Crosby, Stalls, and Nash first. Do we know who that is?
Yeah, that's Blair.
Blair is first. Okay, so we have Blair up first, then we have Brian, and then Elon. What I'm going to sort of do is introduce folks as we go through the picks. They have 2 minutes on a timer. I'm going to bring them on, ask them a question about themselves, and then get them to announce their first round picks so you get to know everybody. And then as we keep going, we'll basically just keep the picks flowing through here. I'm going to bring them on to our Zoom call, which Elon is recording. And I guess we're all just kind of crossing our fingers, wondering when will Brian Com show up?
He said he'll be here in a couple minutes, so I think he'll make it. I trust him. We should mention maybe the rules of like what's going on. First of all, we're drafting a non-snake draft. This is a straight up like the actual NHL draft, and the people who are drafting higher are the people who performed better in the previous round. So like Blair and Brian both won their divisions. So that's why they're going to be drafting 1, 2, and then beyond. Once we get to Andrew, who snuck in there, and we'll see if he can now pull a spoiler roll and jump up. Brian, I believe, was 6th in round 1, and then he ended up winning his division in round 2. So who knows how much this advantage is even worth. As far as the scoring, straight up points, we're drafting 7 forwards, 2D, and then 1 team spot. There's 8 of us and there's 8 teams. So each team will get drafted, and that's just not too many points. 1 point for a win and 1 bonus point for a shutout. Those are the rules. Do I have it all, Ben?
I think you do, yeah. And just to say that this has been a super fun thing for you guys to put on. I'm really excited about this format. I am a playoff pool skeptic. I think it's just too annoying trying to guess which 2 teams are going to make the finals and stacking your team with a bunch of players off of those teams. So I really enjoy the redraft format, and especially the way that we've been doing it. It reminds me of a new video game that everybody's been playing, Fall Guys, where you lose a bunch of people each round and we're gradually going to get to the top.
It's also a certain TV show that I may have mentioned a time or two called Survivor, kind of works in the same way.
I don't think so, no.
All right, so I guess we got 10 seconds to go. So,
yeah. Let's get Blair up here. Blair, you've got the first pick. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what brought you here. What players were you into in the first couple of rounds?
I picked a whole bunch of randoms, and it kind of worked out. But Dubois, man, has been my guy, and so sad to see him go.
Yeah, I think that the city of Columbus would agree with you that he got them into the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
So have you thought a lot about your first pick here?
No.
What's on your mind? I mean, I'm not going to spoil any names, but you're welcome to, and you can tell me who you're thinking about.
Oh, well, if we're ready to go, I'm ready to go. I don't even think there's a moment hesitation here.
Oh, let's do it then.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, who you got?
I'm going to take my boy Nathan McKinnon.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, go for it.
One of the big reasons why is I can't draft Cassian. He's my guy too, but I'll take McKinnon, and I'll be really happy with that pick.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan McKinnon turned into a superstar the last couple of years in the league. He was the best part of my cupful team, so I can definitely understand why you would go to Nathan McKinnon at number 1. Blair, we'll get you back here in a couple of picks.
All right, thanks.
Brian, where are you at? No?
Brian,
No
he seems like he's here. I see him in the Zoom call. I'll do an edit point here for so we can just. We're gonna make it as if you say, Brian, where are you at? And then Brian's gonna be like, I'm here. I've been here the whole time, Ben. Where are you?
Right, and it's gonna be amazing.
So Brian,
I see
what's
a
that
chat bubble? What is that? Oh no.
Let me just message him here. Oh,
there he is.
All right, he's setting up.
The
Perfect.
clock is freaking ticking.
Oh yeah. Well,
okay,
I'll pause.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just suspend it, whatever. I'll once we start talking, just to make sure.
He's gonna come in cold, I'm gonna have to get him going here. I'm gonna have to
Brian,
ramp him up.
you on headphones?
Okay, hi.
All right.
Brian!
Hi.
We're gonna make this sound so seamless. Basically, Brian, we've already introduced the concept. Ben's gonna be introducing people as we go, and then Blair made his first pick. He took McKinnon, and then Ben was like, all right, now, Brian, I think he's here. Brian, where are you at? And then now you'll just come in now, and I'm going to edit it. So it's going to be as if you were here the whole.
Oh, that's great. I was afraid this explanation was part of the show.
No. This is going to be the only edit. This is going to be the only edit of the show.
Great. So that gives me a moment to I'm just sitting down. I have my entire dinner beside me.
Brian's the only person in podcasting who can't wait a couple hours to eat. He needs his food.
If you want me to be on my game, I need to be nourished.
That's fair.
So I'm entering the draft room. Hi, everybody. By the way, thanks for answering the call to be here live.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Except you, Blair.
Dennis Duffy.
I got under your Did I?
Never. No one gets under my. Only Elon gets under my skin.
Brian's mad that you sniped him on McKinnon.
Yeah, snipe, no. Is there such a thing as a first round snipe? I don't think so.
Well,
yeah,
sometimes,
sure.
I guess if like you thought that the person would fall to you at like pick 8 and then like they get taken right before, you could still have that feeling. But okay.
Games played would be an issue too, like, a sweep over 7 games.
That's my main concern with McKinnon. I'll mention it. I'll shit talk your pick when it's my turn.
Okay, and let me just load up what the matchups are for this round.
Oh my god.
This is professional podcasting.
This is well, I'm really glad this is not part of the show, right, Elon?
Yeah, so it's not. It's fine. It's gonna be from Ben's like, Brian, where are you at? And you're gonna come in. But okay, it's Dallas and Colorado. Okay, it's Vegas and Vancouver. And then on the other side, you've got Boston and Tampa, and then the Islanders versus Philly. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Ryan, where are you at?
I'm right here. I've been here the whole time. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Ben, for hosting. First off, I'd like to thank our wonderful hosts who've done just an excellent job running and coordinating this draft. So thank you very much to our host, Ben. And with the Flamingos' first pick of the round 3 of the Keeping Karlsson playoff pool draft to the final 4-way finals, the Flamingos select Brad Marchand.
Wow. Marchand, number 2. Would you have taken McKinnon if he had fallen to you?
Absolutely.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
That would have made my life a lot easier. I think, honestly, picks 2 through like 5 or 6 are pretty even. There's not a whole lot to choose between these guys. You're just going on gut. But I have a feeling that Elon is just licking his lips at who I left on the table for him.
I think so too. And let's hop over to Elon. Brian, we'll get you back in here in a couple of picks. Elon, welcome back to your show.
Well, Brian, I will mention that you are obviously a big shot as a co-host of the show. Yeah, I was going to say you have to actually put your pick into Fantrax, but you did it. So now I can officially make my pick as Fantrax just screamed a horn into my ear telling me it's my pick. So thanks to them for that. Yeah, I was happy that you went with Brad Marchand because I was thinking about it. And like Boston is a great defensive team. They're known for that. They have 2 great goalies, but Tuukka Rask isn't playing and they've got, a lot of games in a short amount of time. So Halak is going to have to really be pushed hard. And I don't know if he's up for the challenge, or I'm sure he is, but I'm sure it's not going to be like a super low scoring series. So I'm very happy to get Kucherov. All of that to say, yeah, I think Tampa's going to score some goals and I'm taking Kucherov number 3.
That's very, very interesting. I don't know, like, I'm just going to comment. Ben, you can cut me off. But yeah, I had to choose between a Boston and a Tampa player. And I just thought, well, which goalie do I think is going to give up more goals? I think it's going to be Vasilevsky.
Time will tell.
I actually agree with Brian. I think I would prefer Marchand here, but I mean, to Brian's point, 2 through 6 are definitely all things being equal there. I think you're getting a good player either way. Elon, once again, welcome to the show. I wish you wouldn't wear that hat. It's driving me crazy every time I see you in this New York Islanders hat. You can do better, sir.
Hey, I mean, the Islanders are looking good. What are you talking? Don't trash talk the Islanders after they just beat Washington in 5 games. They're about to upset Philly. Come on,
it'd be like wearing a New Jersey Devils hat in the 90s, and it's just like, way to go. You like the boringest team in the world.
It's also kind of like wearing a team's jersey to a game that is not one of the 2 teams playing.
Okay. Like, I think we have a draft going. Don't we need to keep this moving? We have like 80 picks to get through.
All right, we're gonna go over to Tom next. Tom, you have been definitely on Marcus's Stat Attack show. Have you been on Keeping Karlsson before?
I don't believe so. No.
Welcome.
Famous to the patrons, but not maybe to the other listeners.
Yeah. Tom, tell us a little bit about what brought you here, the players that you've had in the first couple rounds.
Yeah, I had it kind of rough the last couple of rounds. Kind of snuck in, to be honest. I had the 7th pick there. You had the 6th, I believe, and kind of just clawing my way in every single time and seemed to just get in. And luckily enough here to get the 4th pick. So hopefully with a higher pick, might do a little bit better this time. So watch out, Blair. I'm coming for you.
Well, it's a tough one. I mean, you guys, I think it's the top 2 advance, right? So it's going to be a a big fight here. Tom, do you have a lot of internal arguments going on about this pick, or do you know who you're going with?
Yeah, they kind of put me in a bad position here because I have my boy Rantanen sitting straight in my face, and I really, really want to take him, but I also have Pasta, which is hard to take because I honestly think the Boston-Tampa series going straight to 7. I would put a little bit of money on it right now. I wouldn't say my house, but I'd put some money on it. So I'm kind of torn, but I think I'm going to go head over heart, and I think I'm going to take Pasta here.
I think it's a great pick. You could have gone. I was surprised he didn't go second, to be honest. I thought he'd go ahead of Marchand. So I guess it's the injury concerns that you would go with Marchand ahead of him.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, it wasn't even the injury concerns. I just feel like I've seen, and maybe this is unfair to Pasternak, but like Marchand's like older. I feel like he's more experienced. I feel like he's a little more battle ready. Like if things get tough or feisty, I think he can cut through all that stuff and still put up production. But yeah, I honestly thought Elon was going Pasternak 3 because I think I could have been called out for not going with him too. So it's a great pick there for Tom. You're welcome.
I agree. I thought he would go 2 and 3. Sorry to cut you off there, Tom. Yeah, we're on a different leg of the draft here, and this is what I'm going to say as I'm looking at the Zoom call is the wall of goatees. I have 4 people in here, including myself, rocking the goatee, the playoff goatee. We're going to Wes first. Wes, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thanks.
Congrats on making it this far. Any players in particular that got you here?
I got a lot of like nice late picks. Atkinson in the first round, Voracek in the second. In both rounds, I had an injured dude, so I got Scheifele in the first one and Tarasenko in the second one. So I kind of like scraped by as well. I'm just happy to be in the third.
That's pretty impressive, honestly. Getting over an injury, especially one like Scheifele, which is, as I recall, was the first period of game 1. That's a tough one to get through.
Yeah, he's my second pick in that one.
Ugh. All right. So do you have any idea where you're going with pick 5?
Yeah, I think Tom pretty much made up my mind for me. It was either Pasternak or Rantanen, and so he left me with Rantanen, and I'll take him.
Oh, that's got to hurt Tom to hear that Rantanen went by so quickly. Because I would assume maybe there's some thought that Rantanen falls into the second round, but he goes at 5, and I don't begrudge you on that one. That's for sure. All right, Wes. Well, we'll catch up with you in a little bit. Is Rob the participant who's not in the room?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So it's his pick, and he made it. So I guess we're moving forward. Rob's not on the call, but he's here in spirit.
So he's made his point. He grabbed Braden with the 6th overall. That's the second Tampa Bay Lightning player off the board. We're at pick 7, and it's Rico's Roughnecks. I'm assuming that is Nate. Nate, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're super excited, dude. Tell us about how you got here in the pool so far.
Well, I had a really good first round. Basically, everything worked out. Aho, Taves, DeBrincat, even as my last pick, did well for me. Then in the second round, I had a really bad round, but luckily I had the first pick, so McKinnon bailed me out, and I got the fourth seed in that division. So,
nice.
Right now, it's between 2 players. To me, it is a tough pick, but I'm gonna go with Pettersson because I think he's starting to really shine here in the playoffs, and I do like Vancouver's offense. So.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that pick. Pettersson's a superstar at this point.
Yep.
I think I'll have a little bit more ice to skate with in this series too. I mean, watching that series against St. Louis, they were playing him really tough with Perron. Nate, we'll catch up with you in a little bit. I'm gonna hop down to Andrew. Andrew, you are decked out in Philadelphia Flyers gear. Welcome to the show, and congrats on your team.
I'm feeling pretty good. I was a little worried at first. They played a different style. They usually forecheck a lot. They're hard on the puck.
Right.
But they switched to defense, and I'm not used to seeing that as a Flyers fan. I'm used to them scoring. Konechny's been off completely.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
I said to myself, of all the teams that advance, the one team I do not want to face is the New York Islanders. They play like we are playing, but they are more deeper in the way they play across all four lines. I'm worried.
Right.
I'm legitimately worried.
It's a big change from the Habs, who are a high event, run and gun team, which the Flyers easily handled and wore them down. I think that you're going to see a bit of a reverse. It's going to be the Flyers trying to break this series open.
Yes, and they don't have Carey Price in that. I know
That's-
Simeon Varlamov is good. He looks good under Barry Trotz's system, but he's not Carey Price. And if we are stepping from Carey Price to Varlamov, I feel better. But just the way they're playing, it worries me is all. But,
All right, well, Andrew, I'm curious then. Are you going to go with one of your beloved Flyers in the first round, or are you going elsewhere?
I'm going to go elsewhere because I think I can pick up my Flyers deeper in the round. I'm picking almost, I think I'm last, right? Yeah.
Yep, you're 8 of 8.
Yes. So I need to be this pick right here. I feel like has to really put me on the level of you guys, because there is a pretty big difference from 1 to 5 to 6 to where I'm about to pick. I think there's a big drop off. Patterson was where I wanted Point or Patterson. I thought he would fall to me, but he didn't. But I'm gonna go on a limb here and take JT Miller.
I'd be high upside with that pick. There's no doubt.
Yep,
If that Patterson line goes up. Sorry?
Last time, and I picked Stone with my first pick in the previous round. I don't know. I'm going to switch it up. I like Vancouver in this series to surprise the world and surprise Canada.
I'm seeing Wes showing off his Vancouver shirt, which I didn't see when I was chatting with him. So we'll talk about Vancouver as well here in a minute. All right. Well, with that pick, Andrew, if you lock it in, you got 1 second.
Everyone will do it. It's saying Landeskog.
It worked.
Okay.
It looks like you got auto-picked JT Miller, so it worked out well.
Maybe he was at the top of his queue.
That would make sense.
It was.
There we go. All right, so we're back all the way to Blair. Blair, you've had a lot of comments about your looks already in the Zoom chat. You feeling comfortable about how this round has gone and who's left at 9?
Well, I hired an actor, so it's worked out nicely for me. I'm thinking right now, this second pick, I still get a fantastic player off the board, but I really think I need to neutralize the guys that picked high up. So I need to get someone on a line that's going to get me the points that they're going to get points with as well. So I'm going to go with Patrice Bergeron.
Yep, that is the person who fits the description that you just laid out for sure. Definitely. I mean, really high upside on Bergeron too. As much as you're getting out of Marchand, like Bergeron could have the exact same series.
Hope so.
All right, Blair, we'll check in with you in a little bit. And now we are going back to Elon Dubrovsky. Elon.
No.
wish.
Oh.
I don't think so. I think somebody had more points than Elon in the last round, and that somebody was me, Ben.
Right. I should have known. I mean, I'm mad at Elon about his Islanders hat, but he's right next to my face on the Zoom call, so I just divert to him. I'm sorry, Brian.
Forgiven.
How are you doing about this? Did you get sniped on any of these guys? Were you hoping somebody would fall to you at 10?
You know, the 3 guys that were picked just before me, Pedersen, Miller, and Bergeron, were 3 guys who I was a little worried I'd end up picking one of them. I have 4 guys in line. I thought I'd end up with one of those 3. And, like, all of them were guys that, like, I'd be happy to have, but it's just, like, Vancouver against Lehner. Like, Lehner's the best goalie in the league, in my opinion. And then Bergeron, is that a little risky to stack him with Marchand this early? Do I want to stack superstars like that in case Boston does get shut out because they're tired, as Elon said? So I feel relaxed and happy that the Vegas Golden Knights leading scorer to be this round, Mark Stone, has fallen to me this round. So he is going to be the second pick for the Flamingos.
I recall in a group chat, Elon was talking about Mark Stone being his number 1 pick last round, and Lewis, my co-host on Short Shifts, was like, I bet I can get him in round 2. And he didn't fall to round 2 in any of those drafts in the last round. So congrats on, I would say, a bit of a steal here. Mark Stone at 10.
I mean, I thought Mark Stone was going to be a steal for me when I got him last round. I ended up getting him second overall. He only got 3 points in the 5 games. He stunk. So
Well,
maybe he'll do
This
better.
sounds like sour grapes to me.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Mark Stone, I'd be picking now. I'd be getting him again. Or I guess not, because then he would have picked higher. So it's like butterfly effect, where like who knows where Mark Stone would have been taken if I was actually high. Anyway, all right, my pick.
Let's just hope that Brian can get water from a stone here, eh, folks?
right.
Good one.
My pick is easy. I'm looking forward to the pun you're going to make. Actually, it's not easy. I shouldn't say that, but I got to go D here. We have to fill 2 D spots anyways, and you've got Quinn Hughes just sitting there, point per game so far in the playoffs, better than like Mark Stone has been. So just give me Quinn Hughes, and I'll be happy, and then it's only one more D to worry about for the rest of the draft.
That was unnecessary, Elon. I know I sniped you, but you didn't need to snipe me back with that comment.
Well, I'm going to be here all night, and I'm just going to keep doing it.
And we are going to move on to Tom. Tom, we're back. Where's your head at as we go into this pick?
I'm just staring at a sheet and I'm gonna kind of just pick someone.
Yeah.
I was hoping Hughes would fall to me. I was really hoping Hughes would fall to me. But I'm sitting here. I don't have my boy Rance. Kind of leaning towards getting some ranting points by throwing down another D pick. And I think I'm gonna go. Makar here.
I love it. I think it really, when Elon took Hughes, I was kind of thinking about Brian's words in the first round where Elon took Kucherov, who he thought might have a harder time scoring on that goalie. I kind of feel like Makar has a better matchup against Markstrom than, it's Vegas, Vancouver. Right.
Vegas, Vancouver, and it's Dallas versus Colorado. And I'll be honest, I'm afraid of Makar just because I think that Colorado could sweep this series. Like, I'm just so in love with what I've seen from Colorado, and that's the main reason why I went Hughes. I feel like Vancouver, Vegas could go longer.
And
doesn't matter getting 2 points a game. Doesn't matter getting 2 points a game. You can play 4. It's still 8.
And also, who knows? You can't predict this stuff. Good pick. It was a toss-up for me.
And you're going up against Dallas, who has fantastic goaltending as well. So I guess that western side is potentially a little bit of a danger just because the goaltending level is so high. We are back at Wes. Wes, welcome back. I want to ask you about your Canucks because they've been my adopted team this playoffs.
Nice.
One of my best friends out west, where I just moved to the East Coast. One of my best friends out west is a huge Canucks fan. Was cheering for them with her this past round. What an amazing win! I was psyched.
I was so stoked that they made it this far. I picked St. Louis to go through in the last round. I thought that they were going to overcome them, but I'm happy to keep watching Vancouver play. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you have one of the most exciting franchises to be cheering for right now, just with that young group of studs. Are you going to take anyone on Vancouver right now? Ooh, Blair is flashing the retro. Yeah. That's a nice one right there. Where are you thinking for this pick?
Well, I was definitely wanting to do a defenseman because there's not many top defensemen in this draft, and you only get the 2, so I want to start off strong with that. And Elon kind of beat me to it, so and then I got sniped by Tom. So I'm going to go with my third choice, which is Shea Theodore.
He's right on that tier with those 2. I think that you have a great shot of having that elite. I think you have a great shot of having the highest scoring defenseman in this series.
I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to go to 7 games, that series. It's going to be a pretty tight fight, so I'm happy to have Shea Theodore.
I hope so. I'm really excited about that one. I think it's going to be a fantastic skating series. I mean, both teams have amazing forwards, so that should be really fun. Wes, we'll check back in with you in a bit, but now we are on to Rob, who has picked Victor Hedman. So we are in a defenseman run here. On to Nate. Nate, are you going to continue the defenseman run, or are you looking at forward at this point?
Definitely looking at forward because at this point you're just kind of reaching for, I think the top 3 guys went, and to me, those were the guys that would be good in this round. There's a lot of good forwards still left. I'm gonna go with someone who helped me out in the last round, and it's Jonathan Marchessault. And one of the reasons is I'm hoping that because Stone has already been picked, I'm hoping that it's Marchessault's line that gets a lot of the scoring, and so maybe I can pick up on some of that. So,
I mean, that line has proven that they're playoff tested. They've been there before and they've been super productive. So, and Marchessault himself definitely a playoff type player, like a grinder. So I love it. Yeah, great pick. And we're back to Andrew. Andrew, you've already picked. I didn't even get to ask you about it. What's going on?
He had a slow start. He had an injury, but I'm going to go with this series, and Max Pacioretty, I believe, is the driver of that line. Some would say it's Stone, but I feel like Pacioretty is sort of rested, and I just think he's going to be a part of that power play and give me some goals.
I think that Pacioretty, somebody who playing with Mark Stone, those two could go off. Vegas is a tough draw. Like I said to Wes, I'm cheering for Vancouver this playoff run. Not loving that draw. That's definitely a tough one. We will see you back here in a bit, Andrew. But first, we're going to chat once again with Blair. Blair, you just flashed the retro Canucks jersey. Is there a number and a name on that one?
No, that one's just a blank. But
are you also a Canucks fan?
Yep.
Okay, well, congrats to you as well. What an exciting time! Like I was saying.
Yeah, who is it?
The horns were honking last night. It was awesome.
Are you guys both in Vancouver?
Come on, who isn't?
Yep, I am.
Nice, awesome. Well, so far, Blair, you have. I'm just pulling up your team here. You've got McKinnon, you've got Bergeron, and then there was a huge defenseman run right after that. Are you feeling like you missed out?
Yeah. So last round, I thought I could dictate this draft by picking a D, and I decided to go with the neutralizing the forward line. And then right after my pick, the D just started going, and I think I have to snag one of the top guys. So I'm going to pick Krug.
Fair enough. Krug off the board. The defensemen are getting a little bit thinner here as we head back to Brian, not Elon, with the second pick of the third round.
I mean, clearly I had Blair a little shook that he took his eye off the rest of the league to focus on me to try and neutralize my threat, which is fair because I'm a huge threat. And then I also had the choice that Blair had, which was to start a D run or to not start a D run. And I guess the measure of whether I was right or not is the difference between I picked Mark Stone. The next forward picked was Pacioretty or Marchessault. So
right,
Stone.
Elon didn't pick next. My bad. Sorry.
I made the same mistake.
So is the difference between Stone and Marchessault bigger or smaller than the difference between Cale Makar, who was the first D taken, and who I'm going to take because I have one guy left on my list. I wish I had Krug because I think he's still a step up above the next guy I'm going to take, but the next guy I'm going to take, Miro Heiskanen, is probably a step up above the other remaining D-men who I don't want to get caught without. So that's why I'm going to go Miro Heiskanen. I'm feeling okay. I'm not so full of regret that I am on the back end of this D run. I could have chosen to be on the front end. I'm happy to be on the back end of it. I think I came out all right.
Well, I'll say that Heiskanen is a guy who, when you said the name, it felt early to me. But I have a spreadsheet courtesy of Elon that has the average pick of the other three drafts, and Heiskanen went 17th on average.
Interesting. I wonder if Elon has shared that with the rest of us to draft with tonight, or if he's just keeping it for his own personal use.
Well,
let's
Brian,
hear from him.
Before you arrived, I did mention that we have a public spreadsheet with links to all the leagues, so anyone had the opportunity to go and download the results and do whatever they want. I don't believe it's my responsibility to do your draft prep for you, but
no, well, you're the only one with access. You have the credentials.
Incorrect. everyone has access to go and download the draft results for all the leagues, Brian. So,
So Elon, you've got Kucherov, you've got Hughes. Where are we going round 3?
Actually, Ben, you're going to be so annoyed at me because before I tell you, I'm going to do 2 things. First, I am going to correct. I believe it was Blair who said that Makar was the first D taken. It was Hughes. So
Oh, that was me. My bad.
So Brian, sorry, I apologize, but you should apologize. Okay. Second of all, before I make my pick, I would actually like just to take a quick second to thank a sponsor for this week's episode of Keeping Karlsson, which are our friends over at DraftKings. Because I just want to come here and tell all of you nice listeners who have been tuning in for the draft, I hope you've been enjoying it. So I want to let you know that there are 100 million reasons why you should listen up to what I'm about to say right now. DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is celebrating the return of sports by giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all of their customers, including one lucky winner who will take home $1 million cash prize. So to claim your share of up to $100 million in instant giveaways, all you have to do is, get ready for this, you're going to want to write this down. You download the app, the DraftKings app, sign up using promo code Karlsson, as in Eric Karlsson, then enter DraftKings free football survivor pool. And yeah, that's it. It really is that easy to claim your share of up to $100 million in instant giveaways and put yourself in the running to win a $1 million cash prize. And while the top prize is reserved for one lucky winner, everyone who signs up and enters DraftKings free football survivor pool will receive an instant bonus prize of at least $5 in value upon entering. And while you're in the app, of course, don't forget to check out all the great daily fantasy contests on DraftKings that they're hosting for this week's basketball and golf and, oh yeah, hockey action. We've actually been having a ton of fun running DraftKings contests with the patrons of Keeping Karlsson, and we've been just doing free contests every day, and it's been a blast. I suck at it, but I've been good at these Keeping Karlsson playoff pool drafts, so I'm not feeling too bad about it. But Brian, why don't you tell the listeners about these fun drafts we've been doing and how well you've been doing, and then, yeah, because I don't know how you do it all the time. You always win these things.
We have a little league going, and the league tracks who has the most victories across, like since the start of our league. We start contests almost every night, depending on if I remember to create the contest or not. And right now in the Keeping Karlsson League, the leaderboard has, well, actually, there's a new leader. Congratulations, Brett, for sneaking ahead, who has won 3 of his 7 contests played. I've won 2 of my 7 contests played. And Jack 0812 lurking in the background. He's only played 3 contests, but has 1 win. So better winning percentage over there. So maybe you can, like, there's the top of the board just has 1, 2, or 3 wins. Why don't you get in there and see if you can beat us all by downloading the app and signing up for, let me try that again. By downloading the DraftKings app and using the promo code Karlsson to play for those 100 million of reasons to play. That's promo code Karlsson, is in Eric's last name, to get a shot at that $100 million in prizes from the football survivor pool. Only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. And if you do sign up and you need the link to join our league, just tweet us at Keeping Karlsson.
Yeah, we'll tell you how to get there. So yeah, there's been a lot of suspense. Everyone waiting now for my very important 3rd overall pick in this draft. And I'm going to kind of contradict myself and be a big hypocrite, because last time I was like, yeah, I didn't want to take a Colorado guy because I think their series will end too quickly. But at this point in the 3rd round, how can I not take Nazem Kadri, who's up to 11 points in 8 games so far, has just been like better than Rantanen, I believe. Like, I'm not saying that I think he's going to continue to be better than Rantanen, but he's on the top power play with Rantanen, and he's driving his own line even when Colorado stacks up the top line. So I'm very happy to get Kadri here. I feel like I'm getting a guy who could have potentially gone in the 1st round, getting him in the 3rd. So thank you very much, everybody.
You know who's loving this Nazem Kadri renaissance? This Toronto Maple Leafs fans, just watching him, play every single game of the playoffs. That must be quite a trip for them to see what this looks like. We are back to Tom. Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Are you feeling sniped at this point?
No, I just don't like the whole Rantanen Kadri comparison.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Why Kadri a 1st round pick? You're just talking up your own team.
I'm just going by the results so far in these playoffs.
That is a classic Elon comment, though. My guy's better than the guy who I would have taken before him now because I have him now. All right, Tom. What are you thinking here? Third pick. You have Pasta and Makar so far. Where are you going next?
It's tough because I think this is where you start to get the luck factor of like who kind of gets hot, how many games, and things like that. So I think anyone in this round could potentially do really well or really bad. I'm kind of looking at matchups here, and once again, I am going to ride the gravy train of, I think, just the team that is putting up the points, regardless of how many games they're going to play. I think I'm going to, and Kadri set aside, I think I'm going Landy. I think I'm going to ride the Colorado gravy train.
I think I would have taken Landy over Kadri too, regardless of the previous production. I'm looking into the future. I prefer his deployment. I'd go Landeskog ahead of Kadri myself. Stacking Colorado though, you got Makar, you have Landeskog, and I'm sure you're hoping that Khudobin or that Bishop doesn't come back and that Khudobin doesn't stay hot.
Let's go. Have some fun.
All right, we are on to Wes once again. Wes, how are you feeling heading into round 3?
Hey, before you answer, Wes, can I just remind everyone? I'll edit this out. I'll edit this out. If you're not on, can you just mute yourself? I've heard some clicking and stuff coming through, and I'm not gonna be able to edit the separate tracks. So yeah, if you don't mind,
You'll never be invited back if Elon hears you clicking.
I don't know who it is. It could be anyone. So I don't know.
It's probably
It might have been me, but just well, if it's Ben, then at least he's talking. So at least it's justified clicking. But okay. But anyways, yeah. So sorry. Continue from like Wes. What's up? Yeah. Sorry.
All right, Wes. Back on the third round.
Yeah.
You've got Rantanen. You've got Theodore. Where's your head now?
Well, I too don't appreciate the Rantanen Kadri comparison.
That was insane.
I think Rantanen will outproduce Kadri. I think Kadri got a little lucky there. I think that at this point I have to pick a Canuck or I won't live it down. So I'm gonna take my boy Bo Horvat.
What a start to this playoffs Bo had.
Yes, Bo Scorvat.
Yeah, scored some of my favorite goals so far this playoffs for sure. You're going to enjoy cheering for him. That's for sure.
That's the point, right? You got to at least like be able to get behind your team and your players. Yeah.
All right, so next we are hopping over to Rob, and he is sitting here with Braden Point and Victor Hedman. He's stacked Tampa Bay players, waiting for him to make his pick, and he goes with Matt Barzal. So Barzal off the board. The last team, I would assume, to not have a player picked would be New York Islanders here, Elon's favorite team. And now we are moving on. We are back with Nate. Nate, welcome back.
So there's still a lot of good forwards left. I'm between two different guys. One is a little more risky than the other. But I do think since where I am drafting and since it's only first place that moves on this time, I am going to go a little more risky and take Brock Besser and pair him with Pettersson and hope that Toffoli doesn't knock him off when he comes back. But we'll see about that.
I like
I wouldn't see it.
Going high risk, high reward. You know, that's what this is all about, especially when you're picking from a deficit at sixth or at seventh rather. That's you have to make up some ground somewhere. So shooting your shot, respectable. And we are back on down to Andrew. So Andrew, you are sitting here with JT Miller and Max Pacioretty. What's your head telling you now? You look deep in thought.
Well, I'm a little roughed up here. My head was telling me Matt Barzal because whenever he plays the Flyers, we can't contain him, and he really beats us up. But I'm thankful that he was picked because after that comment you guys said, you want to get behind someone, and it's true. You don't want to draft people and kind of root for them, and then it's really killing your heart instead of your mind. So then I was going to take Bo Horvat to pair him with Miller. That's gone. So I'm going to go on a limb here and take Jake Voracek.
I appreciate you not calling me out for saying that New York was the last team to have a player selected because
I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want one of my guys from Philly. I didn't want anyone saying, "Oh wait, what about Philly?" and then someone take Voracek.
So from the Flyers fans' mouth, Voracek over the rest of the team. You feel good about that?
Yes, because he's skating hard. He's drawing penalties. Like when Giroux's been kind of lackadaisical, Konechny's been getting pushed around. Voracek put Weber in a headlock, threw him to the ice. Like he's giving it all he's got. He's skating hard. He's being creative. He's back to. I think Jake could be an elite player when he really puts it together. He's just never consistent. But
Right.
I think he's in the game. His head's in the game, and I'm happy with him. And he's leading our Flyers, and I think he's going to lead us to victory.
Well, you've got some insight watching all these games as closely as you definitely are. And I mean, Voracek has been incredible. Once they got that power play going as well, it starts to look pretty good over there. So now you're sitting with JT Miller, Max Pacioretty, and Jakub Voracek. And we are back to the top of the draft. Welcome back, Blair. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, we're living. And Blair, you have McKinnon, you have Bergeron, and you have a bit of a Boston stack here. You got Torrey Krug. Where's your head at now?
Well, because it's round by round, I'm not worried about the team that goes through. So I'm not worried about conflicting two players on opposite teams. So this is my make or break moment. I'm making the choice here. I'm going on a limb, and it's either going to crash and burn or it's going to take me over the top. So I'm picking up Stammer.
Oh, my God. You're going for it.
Wow.
Done.
Do we know if he's coming back soon?
Don't care. It's done.
Just for the sake of conversation.
Okay, so I'm looking on RotoWorld right now. The latest on RotoWorld from a tweet by Joe Haggerty. So I guess, why don't I just go right to the tweet by Joe Haggerty here. John Cooper said Steven Stamkos is not available right now for the Bruins series. No timeline for his possible return.
Okay, so can I take that pick back?
I don't think so.
I'm going to have to defer to Elon and Brian on this one.
Brian's nicer than me.
Brian is much nicer than Elon.
Nope, I took the gamble.
No timeline doesn't mean he won't be back. It just means we don't know when. He might be
In other
back
words,
into...
Elon has two guys he wants to pick between on
No,
his
I'm
next
not
pick, and
like...
you didn't.
I just want to have a good, fair league. I don't need to win. I don't need the hoodie. I want the hoodie. By the way, we're playing for keeping Karlsson branded, keeping Karlsson playoff pool winner, one-of-a-kind hoodie. In case
Look at this guy who doesn't need the hoodie.
I actually really want the hoodie.
He's been shivering the whole episode on Zoom.
Okay, so I assume Blair seemed committed. Like when you gave him his first opportunity, Blair, last chance. Like I'm open to it. If you didn't know the news.
Okay, I'm open to it too. Up to you.
Is that news as of today?
Yeah.
This is a tweet from August 22nd at 2:01. Yeah, so today at 2 p.m.
5 hours ago.
You have had quite a lot of time to catch up on the news. But as someone who seeded number one, you'd think that you were a pro at this.
It's a nice sunny day here. It's hard to be inside and check it out. So, okay, so I'm just gonna stick with it. I feel like a card laid is a card played.
Wow.
Very
That's
honorable.
Very honorable. Way to go, Blair. Blair.
I'm muting.
Blair is Mr. Congeniality here for sure, and also we'll see if there's a bolder move this draft.
By the way, I should point out because I do have these the picks from the other three divisions. Stamkos was taken 23rd overall in one, 77 in another, and 24. So basically, two of the drafts did take him around here. So you're not alone. And then the D2. Someone got him in the very last round, so maybe you could have gotten him in the last round, or maybe not. So who knows? We don't know what other people in this room were thinking.
So I will say that having Stamkos go to the first overall drafter definitely opens the door for a couple of you guys who are picking a little bit later and don't have the advantage of grabbing Nate Mack right at the top. Brian, you must be salivating here. What are your thoughts?
I see a lot of forwards that I'm interested in, but not a whole lot of D. And knowing that I have this Fantrax jingle playing in my ear that I really am having a hard time talking through. So I'm just going to let it play out. And there's my pick. I'm picking John Klingberg.
Wow.
I am stacking the Dallas D.
Oh my God.
The team leading Dallas D, just because I look at the dearth of quality defensemen left, and I'm afraid it's a very value over replacement type pick. It could come back and bite me. I'm eyeing 5 or 6 forwards who, if they come back to me, this is a win, and I'm good with it. If they don't come back to me, then I probably screwed up because I could see everybody. I'm not sure what's going to happen next. If this starts another D run as people rush to pick up the last remaining D available, or if everyone's like, I'm cool. So we'll see. We'll see again if this strategy pays off or is a mistake. I was not planning on taking 2 defensemen this early, but I felt like my hand was forced.
Back-to-back bombshells, I'll say, for the 4th round. It's been the most exciting round so far, and we're only at pick 3. Elon, are you going to go as bold as Brian and Blair have gone?
Well, Brian, I think you're a brilliant person generally, but that was a really dumb pick, I think, because
Why?
Colorado is going to destroy Dallas. It's going to be 4 games. Maybe Dallas will score like 3 goals the whole time.
And
So good
Nazem
luck to
Kadri
you.
is going to score 20. Landeskog will get like 2 points, Rantanen 3.
Yeah, that's the plan. Well, no, I think that. Oh,
Just
okay.
like he
So
drew it up.
I think that Kadri Landeskog will be around the same. I was just like giving hopeful, like, up to Rantanen level there. That was just projecting what I want to happen in the world. I don't think that was a bad pick of Kadri. I don't know why I think you're making fun of me more for my claim that he's like Rantanen and not the pick. I hope, because that's
You picked him
around.
before Landeskog. I think that's the real like the thing
That's
about Rantanen.
I'm not the
hot
only
pick.
one. He was drafted ahead of Landeskog in a couple other divisions as well.
Well, you
so.
you better hope all the other divisions are right. It's strange that you as an expert need to rely on this data from other drafters.
Need to rely?
Yeah.
I mean, I made my own choice. I don't see why. Okay, I guess I did actually insult your pick, so I guess that is fair. Anyways, I'm gonna go Claude Giroux.
All right, Elon, it's pick 4 here.
I'm
Sorry,
taking
did you
Giroux.
oh.
Yeah, I just said it, but I'll say it again. Claude Giroux, because he's very good at hockey, and I know the Islanders. I'm wearing the Islanders hat, so I should probably be thinking that Giroux's not gonna have a chance to get any points against my apparent favorite team, but. He's good. And he hasn't had a great playoff so far, but I'm going to blame that on Carey Price. And I guess, I'm going to go with Andrew's kind of, claim that it's, Varlamov's good, but he's no Carey Price. So I think we're okay.
Elon, I can't wait to compare Giroux and my next forward and Klingberg and your next defenseman.
Okay, let's do it.
It could be a tight series, though. I mean, both these teams have been playing very close checking hockey. Would you have taken Elon Giroux if Voracek had still been on the board?
I don't know, like Giroux, Voracek, and then one other guy. I don't know. I guess everyone's been name dropping. So we all, there's like a couple other guys on Philly that haven't been taken, like Konechny, Couturier, obviously. Like, they're all probably like very similar. It's very hard to predict who's going to get more points in a single series. I feel like they all have a good enough chance. But Giroux's like sort of been the guy for years. I guess when it's Andrew's turn, he could like comment on who he would have taken as the next flyer. I'll be curious to know. Maybe he shouldn't say, because maybe he wants to like see if that person will still fall to him, but
he won't be there.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right. Well,
it wasn't like a super well thought out thing of like I really like did an analysis of like Giroux versus Voracek and thought about it hard.
Yeah. Over to Tom. Tom, you have Landeskog, Pasternak, and Makar. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I have blood in my mouth from biting my tongue with everything that Elon is saying.
Lay it out.
Buddy. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think I'm gonna try to maximize my amount of points within the goalie stats. I'm gonna keep the fun rolling with Colorado, and I'm going Colorado goalies.
I like it. That's you're getting probably the prohibitive favorite in this round. As just to make sure everybody knows, just a reminder: goalies are worth 1 point for a win. Teams are worth 1 point for a win, +1 if you get a shutout. So if that vaunted Dallas offense gets held up, that could be some bonus points for Tom over there. I do want to ask you though, Tom, before we go on to our next pick, anything in particular you want to call Elon out for that you are biting your tongue on?
Oh, where do I start? First off, all these great stats, ADP. Shout out to Marcus with all the ADP and helping him out there.
Yeah, Elon. Shout out to Marcus. Give credit where credit's due.
Marcus does amazing work for us generally, but this one I actually made myself, all by myself, and it took me only 10 minutes also.
All right, well, let's get over to Wes. And Wes, you've got Rantanen, you've got Theodore, and you just got your boy Bo Horvat in the last round. What are you thinking for round 4?
I definitely saw a lot of those Flyers players lying around, and Giroux was up there, but I think I'm going to take, it's hard between these two. I think I'll take Couturier.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Couturier, like, if you want to talk about a player who's built for the playoffs, like, plays both ways, really good along the boards, offensively incredible. I think a lot of upside with that pick for sure. And we are back to Rob. Rob, true professional, in his Fantrax name. He has he started off with Braden Point, then he went with Hedman and then Barzal, and now at 30th overall, he's taken Riley Smith. And we're back to Nate. Nate, how's it going, bud?
It's going good. Can you guys hear me?
We can, yeah. So, Nate,
Okay.
you're one of the
All right.
only teams without a defenseman so far. Is this going to be the round that you grab your first D-man?
No, it's one of those things where if you don't, you got to go all in if you have a strategy like that. Otherwise, if you go halfway one way or the other, you're just getting, worse players on both ends. So this pick, though, I have to apologize to Brian. It might be a bit of a reach, but I know it's one of his favorite players, and
Don't do it.
I just really believe that he's going to take this momentum and continue to play really well. And I know this is a little silly when you're talking just a series, but if Bergeron goes down in game 1 or Pasta re-injures, then it's even better for me. So I'm going to go David Krejci.
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different direction with that for sure, but interesting. So Krejci on top of Besser, Marchessault, and Pettersson. You're going all in on the forwards. I respect it. I took too many D-men early in the first round, and I got eliminated, so I'm on board. Brian, you have something to say.
Yeah, so Krejci I picked in the 9th round. So how many teams were there? There were 9. So, and I picked 7th overall or 6th overall. Sorry, the numbers are terrible. I got Krejci late last draft, and he's one of the reasons I'm here. Another one of the reasons I'm here, Riley Smith, who I got in the 7th round of the last round's draft. So, obviously these guys aren't falling anymore. The secret's out. I can't sneak them in late. I guess I'll have to find some replacements.
I like how it's like not even close to your pick at all, and you're just bragging about your picks from the last round. Like, at least wait your turn.
I nailed it.
All right. Well, Andrew, your time is winding. You got 2 minutes here, but we'll hop over to you. You are the other team that does not have a defenseman. You've got JT Miller, Max Pacioretty, Voracek. Where are you going with round 4?
Well, for Elon's pick, I would have went with Giroux. He's due. The whole city's talking about how he doesn't perform in the playoffs. He started opening things up, and he was protected with the puck in the power play. He looked good. I would have went with Giroux. Then I'm thinking, well, one of my 3 guys are going to be there, and they are, and that's Travis Konechny. He's getting pushed around, but he's got fire in him like Brandon Gallagher does, and I think he's going to be the difference maker. I'm taking Konechny, and that will be my last Flyer.
Wow, that is a bold statement at the end there, just to cut him off. But I think that's a fair pick. Konechny, another one of those guys who definitely has the grit to make his mark in a series, and he could be one of those guys that Isles fans for years from now are just like annoyed by because of how he plays over the next few rounds. So I can definitely see that. And we are back to Blair once again. Blair, Crosby, Stalls, and Nash. You started with McKinnon at 1, Bergeron at 9, then you went Krug, and way off the board with Stamkos at 4. Where are you thinking for round 5?
I thought for sure that Andrew was going to snipe my next pick, talking about the Flyers. I'm looking at power play 1 defensemen who are left, and there's only a couple left on the board. And I think I need to make the difference up right now with potentially not having a player playing. So I'm going to pick Provorov.
I think that's who I would have taken at Brian's last. Like when Brian was talking about the last defenseman who was of a tier, that's who stood out to me as the guy on a power play one that has upside. Obviously, Klingberg also gets that opportunity, but just where you already have Heiskanen, that one shocked me a little bit. And luckily, we're at Brian's pick now, so we can ask him right about it. Brian, how do you feel?
It was between Klingberg and Provorov, and I had Provorov last round, and I just didn't feel like he delivered the way I hoped to. I'm actually just trying to pull up his game log.
It was because of Carey Price.
That's for sure.
You can't count what happened last round for Philly. All their players didn't get points because Price shut them down.
Yeah, except now they're against an arguably even better defensive team. Like the goalie might not be better, but I think the defense makes the goalie better. So I don't know how much more. I lost a little bit of faith in Philly last round, to be honest. Sorry, Andrew. But it was just seeing them get rattled against Montreal, and like Montreal was playing like the way Montreal needs to play. Like they were all cylinders firing, especially with Carey Price. So it's not that they made. I think Philly for the first time looked really human in a long time. So that was a red flag for me. So I didn't love it.
I agree.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was going to pick Konechny if Andrew hadn't taken him. So
the only reason I disagree is because I think that they very consciously just wanted to shut down the rolling attack of the Habs, like the barrage of shots, and they basically just grinded the series down in a way that I found very impressive when I was watching.
I will give you that, but then the Couturier hit on Lehkonen after the goal. That was ugly. The Gallagher skirmish too. It just looked like they weren't composed the whole way through. And I think they're about to get even more frustrated by the Islanders, although they might be a little less plucky or feisty than the Canadiens and a little more skilled instead. So we'll see. But yeah, Provorov, Klingberg, I decided to call it even between them.
So you're the only team that has all of your D-men slots filled. You got Heiskanen and Klingberg, and then up front you have Marchand and Stone. Where are you going round 5?
I am going to go because, I was really hoping for a flyer to last, but Giroux, Couturier, Konechny expectedly went. So I am going to go with William Karlsson over in Vegas. He's going to be there with Mark Stone. So now I actually have 5 players from only 3 different teams, which is not the way I plan to go into this, but sometimes it happens.
And kind of a forgotten first liner. So definitely somebody who has upside, but you don't really think it's not a super sexy pick or anything, but definitely understand where you're coming from there. Back over to Elon. Elon, we got Kadri, Kucherov, Giroux, and Hughes on your team so far. Where's your head right now? What are you thinking?
I'll be honest, Brian sniped me. I was hoping to get William Karlsson with that pick. So good for you, Brian. I have been trying to go with a strategy of just jumping around around a bunch of different teams, like in these first 2 rounds of the draft, like not wanting to load up on anyone just so that I could land, in the top half. Just don't get too screwed by one team, like not doing well or getting eliminated quickly. And then all of a sudden I could potentially not make it. And it's worked well, but I didn't win the last round. I need to win this round. So I'm wondering if I should start trying to stack a team. But this is me stalling because I actually don't know yet who I want to pick, but I guess I won't. I'm going to go to a different team once again and pick a player who I feel like I've never taken this guy in fantasy ever. He's like for the past couple of years keeps doing well, and I keep kind of wondering, is this really for real? But he just keeps doing it. He's having a great playoffs as well. So I guess I'll take Brock Nelson over on the Islanders. And this might be another pick like Giroux, or like maybe there's like 3 other Islanders you might have taken instead of Brock Nelson, but I don't know, like who knows which one will do better. And I feel like Nelson just always seems to be getting points. And I think that series could go long, like Philly and the Islanders. I think it's going to be a tight one. So hopefully there'll be a lot of opportunities for Nelson to continue to produce like he has. He's got 7 points in 9 games so far. So if he could give me, I don't know, 6 points in 7 games or 5 points in 7 games, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that I think I would go with the same Islander as my second one off the board, just because you're getting the shooter, and that's kind of gives you a bit higher upside as far as getting in on those points. Back over to Tom. Tom, how are we feeling?
back-to-back picks being taken, kind of scrambling a little bit. But for the first time, I agree with Elon this draft. So I'm kind of happy about that. We're getting on the same page now. We're feeling each other out. So
We're
that's
vibing.
good. We're vibing. There we go. I feel like I got to diversify a little bit here. And my next pick, I think, is going to be a little bit opposite of kind of my strategy of loading up to Colorado. I think there's a guy there that has a little bit of potential that hasn't been taken and has been kind of lagging a little bit, but knows how to put a puck in the back of the net. I think I'm going to go Sags here.
I like it. I've been looking at him the last few picks and just thinking what player on left on the board has the higher offensive upside. And obviously Dallas has struggled to score this year, but definitely that's a player that if Dallas breaks through, he's going to be a big part of doing that. So yeah, the first forward off Dallas goes at 36 overall.
Yeah, I'll just point out, not that I'm saying it's a bad pick, just for interest's sake, the listeners might be wondering, oh yeah, Tyler Seguin, he's a guy, only 3 points, and like Dallas is winning games, right? So you can't like blame them for not using it, but somehow they're winning these games with Seguin only 3 points in 8 playoff games so far. So obviously he's someone that could break out, but it's just so weird to see him. Normally he's like close to a point per game. This season he's like a little bit below that, and these playoffs, like at least offensively, a non-factor so far. But we'll see how he does against Colorado.
Yeah,
And
I took him late last round, and he disappointed majorly for sure.
Yeah.
With only like a couple points, I think. Yeah, it's rough.
This is the risk, though, of buying into a small sample size, like one series, though, right? Like that's one matchup. We're moving on to the next round, and Tom is confident that Seguin can be a player that fits the culture of Tom's team. And we're back over to Wes. Wes, what do you think?
Yeah, as far as all the forwards that are left, it is kind of a shot in the dark now. I'm just looking at a bunch of names, and there's a couple defensemen. But I really like this guy. I had him last round, and he, I feel, was probably the best shooter on the Islanders. And so I'm going to take Anthony Beauvillier.
There we go. I could see a couple of Islanders coming off the board here in the
Pucks
rest
on net.
of this round. Yeah,
To
there
be
you
honest,
go.
I thought that was going to be Elon's. I was really surprised when Elon went to the Islanders and didn't go Beauvillier. He like, Elon, you're very much Beauvillier has arrived, and I thought you'd want to be on that train to really prove your commitment.
Brian, the thing is, you don't understand that I'm putting on an entertainment product here. Okay, I don't mean to be like, I bring up Beauvillier on the podcast because he's the one who did the exciting thing in the last round, and
I
that's
think
kind of
you
our...
said this to me in a chat off podcast. This is not just your podcast persona in love with Beauvillier.
I mean, he had a great first round, and yeah, I think, like, honestly, I could see Beauvillier and Nelson being a toss. No, Beauvillier is looking really great for sure. Like, do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree. But did you just say like you lie to make our product entertaining?
No, but I'm like, the way it goes is I say, Brian, Anthony Beauvillier, 3 points in the last 2 games. Can he keep it up? Is he for real? Because holy cow, what a great looking player he's been. And then you go, well, Elon, actually, if you look at his...
All right. Do we know what Villiers is in French? What does Beauvillier mean?
Good. Ville is a city.
Townsperson?
Oh, so he's a good man. Okay.
A villain. Were you hoping for villain?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm on Google Translate now.
Rob has already picked Burakovsky while we went off on this tangent, and we are all the way back at Nate. Nate still without a defenseman. I believe now the last team without a defenseman. Oh no, we have 2, and they are our next 2 drafters. So Nate, you got Brock, you got Marchessault, Pedersen, and Krejci. Round 5. Where's the head at?
So I'm gonna stick with forwards here. Stick to the game plan. See if it works. And I'm gonna go with the other Islander that I think is kind of right up there. I think he has the most points this playoffs, actually, but obviously that can change. Josh Bailey is going to be my pick here, and hopefully he can set up Beauvillier for a few goals.
Yeah, let's hope he Josh Bailey's you out of the seventh seed here. Brian, thank you for the pity chuckle. We are back at Andrew. Andrew, what's going on?
I'm feeling pretty good about this pick. It's slight reach, but I'm gonna go with my fellow Central New York man, and I'm gonna go with Alex Tuck. He's on that first power play. I can combine him with Patches, and he's a good hard player, and I think he's gonna do well.
Yeah, he definitely has that hard nose. I'm noticing a theme on your team here. You've got Miller and Konechny and now Tuck as power forwards for sure.
Yeah, they usually tend to, I don't know, overcome adversity in the playoffs, and then we end up talking about them. And he was doing great till they acquired Mark Stone.
Yeah,
they
it's
signed him to
tough.
a long deal. I mean, I don't know. I like
it's a crowded offense over there in Vegas, that's for sure. Back to Blair, and Blair, you've got your two defensemen. You got Bergeron, McKinnon, and Stamkos up front. What are you thinking round 6?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the team. Honestly, I didn't know that this was a part of the draft until Colorado got picked. So I started sweating it a little bit, and I think I want to go for a team. Unfortunately, a team going against one of my favorites, but I still have to go with Vegas because I think there's really strong. Leonard, hot take by Brian over there, best goalie in the league, and gonna take Vegas.
Yeah, definitely a good chance of moving on. They're the prohibitive favorites, that's for sure, in that series. And we are back to Brian K.
Hi. So Elon just recently directed me to the data that's available to him and no one else about where certain players are being drafted. So I'm quickly trying to consult that before I make my pick, just because we are at the point where it's I know who I want, but I want to know if I can sit on them a little longer. How much on other people's radars have, if I'm going between two guys and one of them is being picked 2 rounds later, that's going to help me decide. So this is just me killing time. If you have something to say.
All I was going to say was that I noticed Elon has a player on his list as drafted that's not drafted.
Oh, so he's cheating.
What are you guys talking about? Everything you're saying are lies. This is publicly available information. I
didn't say it wasn't.
Don't worry about my draft sheet. I checked out. I know what I'm doing.
All right.
I put a player who I'm gonna be drafting.
Right, I got you.
And I know Brian's not gonna take him because spoiler, once Brian's done with his nonsense, I'm gonna take a defenseman, and he's already taken 2 Dallas defensemen, so I got a free pick here.
Oh yeah, it's a free pick. That you didn't anyway. So I have confirmed that the person that is the smallest reach at this point out of the few, because it's amazing how quickly this thing gets deep. We're at pick 50
42
and it's not thin, but it is, as some others have said, it's you're kind of throwing a dart. There's a lot of equal ground here, and I'm going to use this pick to take the opportunity to diversify my portfolio a little, because I've got 2 Golden Knights, 2 Dallas Stars, 1 Bruin. So I'm happy to have a player that stands out on my list who does not belong on either of those teams. He's on Philly, and I'm a little relieved Andrew didn't take him. So I'm going to draft Kevin Hayes. My Kevin is a legit number 2 center in the NHL. Hayes
finally broke out of the funk there towards the end of that Montreal series. 2 big points in the elimination game. Elon, you've already made your pick. Lay it on us.
Yeah, so by the way, speaking of Hayes, a big reason why I'm drafting ahead of Nate here is because Nate was in my division last round, and Hayes really did nothing for me the whole round, and then right at the end he helped me, and I think I beat Nate by a couple points in the end. Anyways, so good old Kevin Hayes, and I think it was a great pick, Brian. Good job. I'm going to take a defenseman here. I feel like there's a big drop between the guy I'm going to take and everyone who's left. So I know I just took an Islander, but let me take another, and give me Ryan Pulak, who I think is the last best defenseman on his team for fantasy purposes. The last best defenseman on their team in this draft, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty much dart throws as far as guessing which defenseman will get hot in the next round moving forward.
I agree, Elon. I think this was a good pick, not that anyone asked me. But I'm also did you see that the majority of the Isles power play time in their last game of the series went to, like, it must have just been a mistake, like just because of, like, they must have hemmed in the defense, but it went to the second unit with Devin Taves quarterbacking it with Peugeot, Nelson, Beauvillier, and Bailey. You're obviously not concerned that there's anything to read into there.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that I think that Ryan Pulak's going to get me a 70-point pace in this next round, but like the Islanders are very much a team from what I've seen this season that they run their 2 power plays pretty evenly. I don't know if like they have like maybe they'll put up the Barzal one first, but I think by the end of the game they're usually like at 45-55% in terms of the overall time on ice of each unit. So I just think Pulak, you just look at the numbers in the playoffs so far, he has 6 points in 9 games, and in the season he had like a 45+ point pace. So just seems like a cut above the rest. And I'm obviously not going to take Devin Taves, who he could get all the power play time, just like Nick Leddy. It doesn't mean he's going to get any points.
All right. Well, we are down to 90 seconds here for Tom's pick. Tom, you got 1 defenseman. You got your team last time with Colorado, or I guess that was 2 rounds ago. You took Sagan in round 5. What are you thinking for round 6?
Just hoping people keep talking so I can go right to the end, because I have 2 ideas, and the 2 ideas that I had were taken right before me. So once again, scrambling. Shout out to Brian and Elon for taking with defensemen. I hope everyone does the same.
Music to my ears.
It's tough because I feel like my hands are tied here. I feel like my hands are tied with the teams and, you know, other people that might have loaded some teams. There's some pretty skilled guys out there, and I don't want to name any names, but they seem to be on the same teams as mine. Shout out to them. I think here I'm going to go with it. I think I'm going to take – oh, this is tough. I'm hesitating. I think I'm going to go Palat here.
I like it, yeah. Another grinder who is on an amazing line, right? He's playing with Kucherov at even strength. At some point, Kucherov is going to have himself a time. So that's definitely a high upside pick. I see Wes shaking his head, maybe in anger. Wes, are you upset about this?
Yeah, I got sniped twice. I got sniped with Pulak and then with Palat.
Right. So, Wes, you have already 1 defenseman in Shea Theodore. You got Horvat, Rantanen, Couturier, and Beauvillier. What's the thought here?
The thought is...
Or was that your last thought, and now you're scrambling to find a thought?
Tons of players, yeah. Kind of a bit frantic here, but I think I'm going to finish off my defensemen. I'm deciding between a couple guys here. Obviously, all the PP1 guys are gone.
Yeah, you're throwing darts, I think.
And I think just because I do want a piece of Tampa, that I'm going to go with Sergachev. And hey, maybe something happens to Hedman and he goes down, and there's my ticket.
Don't sound so hopeful.
Yeah, that definitely could work out. We've seen it in season for sure. Back to Rob, who is not in the Zoom call, but Rob on his team. We are looking at True Professional, Barzal, Point, Smith, Burakovsky, Hedman, and he just grabbed Anders Lee, who I thought, I can't remember who it was who ended up taking Bailey or Beauvillier, but I thought that's where Anders Lee was going to go. I think that's another guy who he's gone under the radar a little bit, but I could see him doing some damage against Philadelphia this round. Nate, how you doing?
Doing good.
Are you still feeling good about the no D-man stack here?
Yeah, I'm feeling all right. I got a couple guys I think are a little underrated. Hopefully I can still get them. I am going to go with a player that screwed me over in the last round. So I'm having second thoughts, but I think he's a streaky guy. So I'm going to give him one more chance, and hopefully he can help me out a little, and that's Alex Killorn.
Definitely a streaky guy. Seen him score 5 points in a game, and then I've seen him also go many games without getting any points. Hopefully, you get the good version of Alex Killorn. And all right. Well, Andrew, you are the other team that has no defensemen so far. You've got JT Miller, Pacioretty, Voracek, Konechny, and Tuck. How are you feeling about no D-man stack here? Are you feeling okay?
I had a demon lined up if Nate was going to pick one. He didn't, and I'm okay with it, honestly. Once the run went on, I knew I was going to wait. I probably will still wait, and this is my favorite pick of this whole draft. I really thought someone was going to take him in the last 3 picks, and it's Joe Pavelski. I'm super stoked about him. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
he had a
surprised
couple
he's fall too.
he had some great games, and I love him. He's playoff savvy. He performs in the playoffs. I think Dallas may give him a run for their money. I'm happy with this team so far.
Yeah, I mean, Pavelski, looking at the other drafts, Pavelski went 29th in one draft, 39th in another, and 41st in another. You just got him at 48. So definitely the lowest that he's gone in any draft. I think that's a good upside play at this point, because you're hoping on Dallas to hit and to score some goals, and people are obviously undervaluing them, or valuing them lowly, I should say. Hopefully that one works out. We are back. We are for the top of the 7th round with Blair. Blair, I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been a while.
What are you thinking
All right,
here?
Ben, I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you were to pick for me, who would you be grabbing?
I can't say out of everyone, but maybe I could pick I could give you a lean out of 2 players, maybe.
Oh yeah, give me a lean. I got 2 minutes, so let me hear it.
Well, no, I mean, like, if you have a few that you're picking between, I might be able to say which guy I would prefer, but
I do. I have 3, but I don't want to. That's.
Yeah, you might be able to get all 3.
I think I'm gonna go with a hot hand here. Somebody who's just been lighting it up, and just gonna hope that he's riding this. He's feeling good, and he's gonna ride it through this round. So I'm gonna pick Denis Gurianov.
That's a fun one right there. Definitely, you're hoping for the future guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a guy who we've seen potentially that could be the highest riser fantasy stock wise of the playoffs if he's able to have another solid round here. Huge against Calgary. What's that? Sorry.
And going into next year too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he could be somebody who ends up getting onto a lot of people's radars here. Back to Brian Combe.
Okay, so I'm going to continue to diversify and grab another player from a team that I have 0 players from. And I'm actually going against what has been happening in the other divisions in the order. I'm thinking of 2 guys, and I'm saving one guy hopefully for later. We'll find out. But the player I'm going to pick is someone I seem to always and forever end up with. My man in Long Island, who I picked in the 8th round last time, picking him in the 7th round this one, Jordan Eberle. Welcome to the Flamingos.
Playoff stud Jordan Eberle. Edmonton traded him because he couldn't score in the playoffs, and now he has more points than anyone on Edmonton since in the playoffs since. So
he's like Nazem Kadri of Edmonton.
Right, there you go. I just need to interrupt. We have some goals, eh? McKinnon from Landeskog and Rantanen, no Kadri in sight, just Avalanche vibing. And Sagan on the board already. A couple of guys here who are still available with points already. I wonder if they get snapped up literally immediately. The pick goes to Elon.
Yeah, so for people listening here, because of scheduling, we had to schedule this draft, even though we knew that it would start to conflict with the game, and the points from this game will count for this draft. And so, yeah, maybe that does affect me a little bit. But also, I don't really think Dallas is going to do that well in this series. But at this point, it's not as if we have such exciting players left. So I guess, yeah, I'll take my point. And Jamie Benn, I guess I'll take him. Like, he had a rough year. I don't think he's going to get better in future years. But I guess, he's had a long layoff. So maybe he's been able to recuperate a little bit more than usual. And, I'm curious to see how he can do against Dallas. So give me Ben. Sure, why not?
He's kind of that prototypical playoff power forward that we were talking about earlier with Andrew. He's just one of those guys that you can see him getting in the faces of Colorado and then just scoring a few annoying goals and be in the face of this series. Like definitely don't hate Jamie Benn at this spot at 51 overall. Back to Tom. Epic Neil time. Tom, what are you thinking here?
Elon, we're talking about annoying goals, and Elon seems to be that annoying person that keeps on taking my pick right before me. Shout out to you, Elon. I don't know if it's two brilliant minds just coming together or if it's just you're just reading my sheet. I don't know. I really don't. I think there's a guy here that has been kind of left off for a while. We talked about diversifying. Brian Com. I'm going JGP, Jean Gabriel Pajot.
Noted legendary playoff performer.
Yeah, scored 4 on my Rangers. Is it 4 or 3?
It might have been both, and he's also terrorized the Habs in the past too.
Yeah, God, I forgot I hate him. We are back to Wes here. Wes, did you get sniped again?
No, I wouldn't say I did. I just have no idea who I'm going to pick.
So, Wes, you are sitting here with Horvat, Rantanen, Couturier, Beauvillier, Theodore, and Sergachev. No need for a defenseman. You have 3 more forward spots and a team slot. We're waiting.
Yeah.
Bated breath.
Well, I see Radulov got a point, but I don't believe in him enough. And I see another guy that I don't know. He might come back. This is going to be a bold pick, but I'm going to take Tyler Toffoli.
Wow. Do we have injury news on Toffoli yet?
So I was actually just looking. I can answer because I just added him to my queue. I'm like, if he's still around in the 9th or 10th round. It looks like at one point it was reported that he was he was aiming to come back for Game 7 of the St. Louis series with a potential for Game 6. Obviously, that didn't happen. And the last update that I can see is that at Sportsnet Dan Murphy has heard that Toffoli skated yesterday, but no updates since then.
That could be a huge one, and it could definitely upset, I believe it was Nate's Brock Besser pick if he is ready for the next series. So that's going to have some implications on this round for sure. High upside and a bit of a steep downside if he stays banged up. We are back to Nate now. Sorry, let me just say quickly, Rob did draft, and he finished off his defenseman with Sam Girard. So he has Hedman and Girard. And now we're back to Nate.
So I am going to take the free point with Radulov, and maybe Dallas will do a little bit better than Elon is hoping they'll do. So hopefully they make it a 6 or 7 game series somehow.
Absolutely. I'm going to do one of my favorite Elon traits where I discuss the game that is happening right now to no one's interest and just say that I saw the Nathan MacKinnon goal and it's ridiculous. What a stud. Andrew, where are we at, bud?
Well, I was hoping to stack Dallas and get that top power play with Radulov, and I was sniped for the first time basically this draft. So I'm kind of lost for thoughts here. I've been waiting on defensemen, and this is a pick I'm not happy with. Well, I'm happy with the player, but just not what I kind of wanted to do. So I'm going to take Alec Martinez. He's on that second power play. They tend to shift and split that up in Vegas. Hey, it's a shot. He did really well at the trade deadline. I mean, I think he had 8 points in 10 games last time, and he did have a couple of decent games. So I'm going to take Alec Martinez. I got to find him here.
Yeah, Elon's favorite defenseman. We are
over 40 points in the next season. Book it to Elon.
That's my prediction.
On to round 8, and we are starting with Blair. Once again, Blair, the king of the draft. How you feeling right now?
Good. Still trying to get over the Stammer pick.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm hoping that the guys I'm picking are going to pick up the slack, but we'll see. So in the spirit of Tampa Bay, a guy that I've had on my queue since the entire start of the draft, excited to pick him up. One of my favorites, Sorelli.
Yeah, one of my favorite players to watch for sure. I had him at the end of the Cupful season here and was just waiting on him to, because he would just go on these little runs that would be enough to hold on to him on your team, and then he would sort of cool off. But talented as hell, and definitely somebody who could do some damage in the playoffs, I would think.
Totally.
All right, Elon, you've got three picks left.
Ben.
Oh, Brian, you're like Elon. You're like his best friend. You know, it's.
I'm so offended.
Tough to pick between you two. 3 picks left. You got 2 forwards and a team slot. What are you thinking?
So the joke is that, remember last round I was picking between 2 guys. I left one on the board hoping he'd come back. He has come back, and I'm like, do I really want him? So, so if no one else took him, maybe I shouldn't either. So now I'm sort of scrambling a little to decide what to do. I've got a few guys. I have 2 players to pick left. I hope I get 2 of these guys. Yeah. I have a feeling I'm gonna call my shot that I know Elon's next pick. And I know it's definitely not going to be this guy who I am going to pick. Again, adding another player from another team. So now I'm really spreading out after loading up on Dallas and Vegas to start. I'm picking from my first player from the Avalanche, Nazem Kadri's wingman, Eunice Donskoy. And it's hard. Like, it's really tricky for me to actually go ahead and push the button for him, just because, like, what did we even see in that Arizona series, right? Like, it was like fake hockey in terms of what we're going to, like, what we can use from that to know how this next round is going to go. But anyone who plays with Nazem Kadri should pick up a couple points. So for that reason, I'll go with Eunice Donskoy.
Dozens of Arizonan hockey fans just groaning with frustration here after that slander. Elon, I'm wondering if Brian has you pegged, or if you can, if you care to go off board to try and throw him off. I'm curious where your head is.
So I know who I want. I would be curious to know, like, Brian, I guess if I do pick this person, then you'll just tell you. But if I don't pick that person, I guess you'll also tell me, right?
Well, I mean, if I don't tell you that it's the person, then I guess that means it wasn't the person. Are you just saying, like, please don't lie to me?
I'm just curious. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. By the way, you've been saying how Donskoy was Kadri's wingman.
Oh, no.
I am interested. No, I don't know. I'm trying to look right now because I know Nemesnikov is back today and he missed a bunch of games. So I'm curious to know how the Avs lines are shaking out.
Oh, I was a fool to not actually look at tonight's game lines.
But I can't see them. Maybe you could look them up now just for the listeners to know.
So
but
I think something's actually broken. Like, there's no data from the usual sources on lines.
Well, it's only been like 8 minutes. Is usually info.
That should be enough.
Okay.
I think
we have our first Schmoll of the round. Are we excited about Schmoll in the
I thought that we're not using that term, Ben.
Yeah, we got Blake Como from Alexiak.
Oh, yeah. Jamie Alexiak continues to climb the ranks of the Dallas Stars' leading playoff scorers.
You know that Blair said at first that he was going to take Alexiak first overall.
He looks pained now.
McKinnon scored. I'm okay.
Right.
His term Schmoll, which is what Brian made up.
The best.
He wanted a word for a goal when there's no fantasy relevance, I guess, aside from the goal against for the goalie. And I prefer phantom goal, and I think Schmoll is a terrible.
I think you got to accept you lost, Elon. It's over.
Ben is the host. He called it a Schmoll. Don't argue with him.
Everyone's loving Schmoll.
Yeah, well, I lost too. I put forward Treefall goal, and no one caught on. So I'm jumping on the Schmoll bandwagon. I'm throwing all my delegates at Brian.
Yes.
I think he won it.
I'd like to see a recount, but okay, I'll just make my pick now. You were saying how if Toffoli comes back, that's not great for Besser, but someone who I think it would be very good for is Tanner Pearson, who all of a sudden would get Brock Besser as his winger on that second line to play with Horvat. And so, yeah, I guess at this point, give me a second line Tanner Pearson.
That's a fun pick. Brian, was that who you thought he would go with? No, not at all.
That was not. It is not a match.
You've gone off the board, Elon. Off Brian's board. Tom, we are. You got 3 picks left here. You are still looking at defensemen and 2 forwards. Are you going to grab your last defenseman here or no?
No, straight up no.
Yeah, fair.
I don't think that there's anyone really left out there, and there's a couple there that are sitting, but once again, could be swing and misses. There are a couple of forwards still left with decent deployment. It's just a matter of looking at who I think is going to go the distance. And right now, that's a freaking coin flip between the teams that I'm kind of looking at. But I'm going to take someone that has been honestly buzzing so much out there, but the points don't really reflect it. I'm going to go Yanni Gourde.
That is a fun one.
Can I just comment on Tampa for a second, like out of turn? Just that, like, it's crazy. Like, this team is an offensive juggernaut, right? Like, crazy, like, cup favorite for the last, like, 3 years. And yet, Ben, I don't know if you can pull up the results that quickly, but, like, Gourde and Cirelli are going. Palat went recently, too. Like, after Point and Kucherov, everyone, and Hedman, of course, like, everyone was so reluctant to touch these guys. None of them have more than a half point per game since the playoffs began, which is crazy, which is not at all to say that they're not going to go off or they can't go off this series. It's just, it's not the Tampa you'd expect, right? You would expect on such an a team with a reputation of being such an offensive threat, there's got to be 4 or 5 guys to choose from, as there are on Colorado and Vegas. But Tampa looks like they're not a one-line team, but if you look for scoring, they're kind of a one-line team.
Well, but it's more that their depth is by committee, right? Like, if you watch those Tampa games, it's like line after line, each of them can score. And then they go out and they add Blake Coleman, like the quintessential bottom 6 goal scorer that's not named Josh Anderson. That's their whole thing, is that they can beat you on any line. And so it's not shocking to me to see that Tampa has that all their secondary scoring has faded this far, just because it is, you're throwing darts. It's a crapshoot to figure out which guy is going to go off. We're back to Wes. Wes, how you doing?
Good. So I just made my pick.
I see that.
Yeah, I went with Jake DeBrusk. I just want a bit of Boston action, and he's the only guy that really stands out to me that's left. He's shooting a lot, and, like, you know, he's out there.
He is out there, and somebody who I think, you know, you're hoping that you get the 5 games where he's on the top power play and he puts up 3 or 4 points on the power play. And
I see that series going pretty far as well, probably back and forth a lot. So hopefully he plays a lot of games.
It feels the most even to me, for sure, of the 4. Just 2 super studded teams. We already have Rob's pick as well here. He grabbed Tyler Johnson, to buoy Brian's point about all of the options on Tampa that you can go with.
Which
and we are now. Sorry, Wes?
My other option for sure.
Oh, really? So basically, Wes's 2 picks go back to back. And we are now at Rico's Roughnecks. Nate, you have 2 defensemen and a team spot to pick from. Which one are you going to fill first?
So why break the streak now? I might as well continue. I did. Martinez was one of the guys I was looking for, Andrew. So that was a really good pick. They use him a lot, even though he's not their top power play guy. I will go with, also, it's not a schmoll anymore, if you're using that term, because Miro Heiskanen got in on the assist. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I was waiting to congratulate Brian on his steal.
I will go with the team that has proven they can shut other teams out, and the Islanders offense doesn't scare me that much. I do think Philly's going to win the series, so I'm going to go with Philly.
I thought you were going to say you were taking the Islanders. That was I was shocked.
They're a good one too, but I think Philly's going to win the series. So.
Well, you got an animated response from Andrew. Andrew, was that an upsetting pick for you?
Yes. Is that what I get for taking Martinez? I don't think that's a fair shot.
But Andrew, you said you weren't. Andrew, you said you weren't going to take any more Philly players. I assume that meant the team.
Part of my plan. I mean, how can I do this draft now without having Philly D? This is horrible. I'm crushed. I'm a loss for words. Now, I honestly don't even know who I'm going to pick. I didn't think someone was going to take him. I didn't feel like anyone in this group was really confident in Philadelphia.
Nice to know that your team is being respected.
All right. I gotta do this quick, I'm assuming.
You got 2 minutes.
Okay.
I will say, as a Pens fan, I have no faith in the Flyers whatsoever.
I'm gonna take Rupe Hentz. He's been shooting a lot, and he's on that line with Pavelski, and Gurianov's on fire. Hey, it's worth a shot.
I was wondering, I thought you did have Gurianov, but I guess you grabbed Pavelski. So you're
I was gonna
stacking the
get him.
stars a little bit. They have 2 goals already, 2/3 of the way to Elon's projection of 3 on the series. And Dallas with a solid start to the first round. Blair, we are back. Round 9. We have 2 more spots to fill. You are looking at 2 forwards. Who are you looking at here?
I think I'm gonna go with again, like you guys have said, like the series I believe is gonna go the longest. Try to get a few extra points, a couple grindy goals. So I'm gonna grab Kashin. I probably pronounced that wrong.
Kashin?
There was no reaction.
I thought you said Kashin. It took me a second. I was like, I don't think he's still in this.
Alexei Kashin, that's what Sens fans called him.
Yeah. No, I actually, that's who I thought. I can't remember if it was Nate or I think it might have been Wes who took DeBrusque. I kind of thought at that point I would have gone with Kasha, just because honestly, this is an eye test thing for me. Just when I watched that Bruin series, Kasha was flashing on the screen. So I like it.
All right.
Elon.
I'm not even.
It's Brian.
Oh,
I can't
Brian.
even.
Brian.
He's so hurt.
Can I explain myself? Give me 1 second here to explain myself. I'm Elon's co-manager in the draft, so his team is highlighted for me. So it just every time it comes up, I just default to looking at the square that says Elon's team on it.
And it just seems to happen on my pick only.
Well, because his pick is right after yours. So it's,
I see.
Brian's just stalling right now. Did you just get sniped on Kasha? You've loved Kasha.
He's clearly reading his screen as he complains about this.
No, I didn't get sniped on Kasha. I love the guy, but I see his ice time going down, and it's been a while since he's done so. Like, I still think the upside is there. He's playing with Krejci. Honestly, it's as good a pick as I'm going to make. But I wasn't ready to go with him. I'm going between a couple guys. One of them is the guy who I thought you would take, Elon, and one of them is the one that I am probably going to take.
So I get to take the guy that I'm gonna take. That sounds
the dullingest man in the world.
So yeah, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go here for series length 2. Zero disrespect to the team that I won't name them, I guess, because that'll tip my hat. But I could see Philly and the Islanders going quite a while. And in case it does, I will be happy to have one more Flyer on my team, and his name is Joel Farabee.
On power play 1 in the last game.
Yeah. That's what sort of did it for me. I mean, like, there's not a whole lot to love about his numbers, but again, it was between him and another guy, and it's stupid. It's like a perennial mistake to try and guess how long a series is going to go and make your pick that way. But there you go.
Well, some of us are better at it than others, eh?
I don't think so. Not if you use a large enough sample size.
I just beat Brian. I'm 1-0 in mine and Brian's series length bet. So I correctly predicted that Flyers Habs would go the distance compared to his Islander. Nobody cares. Elon, what's up?
Okay, so I think I know who Brian thinks I'm going to take. So this is kind of fun now. Regarding Farabee,
this
is
a
good
really
pick.
fun podcast for the two of you to listen to.
Yeah. If you like this podcast, you're really gonna like this podcast. That's like that's our catchphrase. So I think Farabee was a good pick. He was actually someone I was looking at this pick also. Brian, wasn't he healthy scratched for one game? I'm not saying that'll happen again.
Yeah,
Philly's so crazy. Philly's so deep that they scratched James Van Riemsdyk for a couple games also. So maybe they're just like cycling through, keeping people fresh. But I think Farabee's good if he plays, and he was also playing on a line with Konechny I saw last game. I think I know who you want me to take, or who you think I'm going to take, and I think I'm going to take him. So I'm going to go with line 1 or line 2
Yeah.
power play 1 on
Yeah,
Vegas.
Yeah.
He hasn't done much so far in the playoffs. Only 2 points in 6 games, but Paul Stastny's getting all the opportunity. He's playing big minutes. Why can't he get a point or two? So yeah, sure, give me Stastny.
Yeah.
Elon, I don't even want to talk to you about this because you lucked into Jamie Benn, and now he has 2 points. So, it's that famous Elon luck coming through here. The luckiest man in fantasy sports.
Elon is flashing V signs at the.
I think they're sideways peace signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, this is what cool
Slices.
young people do. You wouldn't understand.
It definitely isn't because I do that all the time, and I'm not neither cool nor young. Epic Neil time. Tom, you have a forward slot. You got a defensive slot. Where are you going with this pick?
Going forward, I'm going with someone that I think that has been kind of underrated, plays that gritty role. I think he's going to, once again, this series is going the way. Charlie Coyle.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with that series. I did not think that's who you were describing, but definitely someone who you, in your mind, that is like what you picture when you think about a guy who kind of cleans up in the playoffs as a grinder. Back over to Wes.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
I should have taken Radulov.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he now has 2 points as well.
Yeah. Kind of regretting the Toffoli pick, but hopefully he gets back on the ice soon. As far as this pick, I'm going to go for a team. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay.
I think that, I think they're going to win a couple games. That's for sure.
I'm not too
that's
sure
a tough one to pick between, but I'd give them 50% shot at 4 wins. That's for sure.
They'll at least get a couple wins, I feel. So, yeah.
And I mean, I could see a few of those games too. Like they have superstars in those series, obviously, but like we talked about, the second through fourth lines aren't like the best second through fourth lines in the league. You could see a couple of 2-1, 1-0 games. Maybe you get a shutout or two here. Then you're laughing.
I don't know about that.
I think why not?
I don't know if Tampa's going to shut out. I think that they definitely have a good shot to win the series, but how often does Boston get shut out? I can't recall. But I guess it's possible.
All the time.
I'm gonna
Right,
look
Ben,
that up.
I think you're just really nice. I don't think you've really, except for me, I don't think you've said anything negative about anyone's picks. You're always telling them why it's a good pick.
Well, I mean, it is a playoff pool, and so any of these players are as good as the other people who are being picked generally. It's.
Let's just say I'm not picking Dallas or New York Islanders to win their series. That's for sure. So
No, I don't disagree with Tampa. I think it's a good pick. I'd be surprised if they get a shutout. Let's make a bet board, Ben. Or Wes, who wants to bet board me? I say there won't be any shutouts in that series.
0 shutouts.
Before you take this bet, let
one.
me drop some data. The Bruins were shut out once this season in 70 games, and it was by Columbus.
Oh no.
And who beat Columbus?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet on that. Although I do think it's interesting to extend it to either team. And, maybe I am too nice. I don't know.
Don't
There are
change. Never
worse
change,
things
Ben.
to be, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
We are now back over to Nate. Nate, it might be time, bud. You got two picks left, 2 defensive slots.
It has to be time. So, okay. I was hoping, like I said, I was hoping for Martinez to be one of them. I'm going to go with not my favorite player, but Kevin Shattenkirk. Maybe he can luck into a few assists against the Bruins there. And, he's had stretches, so, we'll see.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? Like he looked like he was going to be fantasy relevant for the whole season at the first 20 games there. I can't remember who bet on him continuing that between Brian and Elon, but wasn't there a pizza involved?
Yeah, I won.
Did you get a pizza?
No,
You want a pizza?
I won the pizza.
Do you want a pizza?
I always want a pizza.
Okay,
This
send
is
me where
hard.
to order it from, what you want. I'll get you your pizza. I don't want to be looked at as someone who doesn't pay their dues.
Hey, Brian,
I actually
slide me
prefer,
half
like,
of that pizza for
the bigger
bonus.
victory for me, like the bigger prize, is to be able to just hang it over your head that you haven't paid up rather than eating the actual
It
pizza.
doesn't work like that.
Elon,
Okay, pizza
send me a
expires in
pizza.
2 weeks.
I accept the pizza from.
Okay, yeah. If you don't claim it in 2 weeks, Brian, I'm sending it to Ben.
Yeah.
Well, I like, maybe that's a nice gesture that I could do for him.
Do
That'd be
it. Do
wonderful.
whatever you want to do. I don't
Yep.
care.
All right, Andrew, you got 2 more picks here, defenseman and a team. Which one are you going to fill this time?
I'm going with a team. There's 8 teams total, 8 players in our league, and Nate sniping Philly from me last round. I don't know what I'd do with myself if I'm the last person to take a team D and it's the Islanders. It'd ruin the whole league for me, so I'm taking Dallas.
I like that preventative pick there, just to make sure that you're not tilting too hard. I can relate to that feeling. Absolutely. Blair, we are back to you. It is the last round. You have only a team to pick. I don't know if you're boxed in or not. I haven't looked at which teams are. No, there's a few more here. So
Blair has a forward. I'll cut in. I know this because I have the team.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the wrong screen.
Blair got the team that everybody wanted. It's just a matter of if he got them at the right time.
I drafted them pretty early, I feel, but I like the pick. So right now I'm thinking I might want a guy as opposed to this forward list, which can I pick a D right now? Can I fill that forward with a D, or
you cannot? No.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes my pick. In which case I might take the full time here. So.
Okay. That's fine. Should I cut in and start talking about my pick?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're picking a team, so we might as well.
I mean, I just want to share that like my heart is still in my throat from Andrew's spiel about like how he's gonna pick a team and like I'm like, oh no. I just thought he was coming for me. Like I have a team that I'd really like who remains. And then he didn't pick them. So I'm very excited. Should I just make my pick while we wait for Blair?
You can say it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take Boston. End this draft the way I started it. Started with Brad Marchand, booking it off with picking Boston as my team. Like, I just think getting them, I guess, 6th out of all there's 3 teams remaining. Getting Boston 6th feels like a win to me. So I'm relieved. Of course, Colorado and Vegas are the ones I wanted most, but I wasn't ready to go in early enough to get either one of them. So give me the Bruins. Give me the Bruins.
God, I really hope they don't win, though.
I also don't want them to win. Like, I want them to win for this, but like they took Carolina in 5, and like it didn't look that hard at times too. So
it was an impressive win for sure.
Yeah, there are a couple teams that there were pretty much 2 teams left that I wanted to end up with, and I got one of them, so I'm happy about that.
You got one. Blair, you ready to go?
No, but I have 38 seconds, and I'm going to.
All right. Well, I'm going to go over to Elon then while you make your decision. Elon, you have a team as well. What are you thinking here?
Well, there's only 2 options left: the Islanders and Vancouver, and I think it's an easy choice. Andrew, you never had to worry because as long as, well, I guess. Yeah, of the teams left, I actually would have even taken the Islanders over Boston. Not because I think the Islanders are better than Boston, but just because I think Boston will maybe win the series, but or they'll win 3 games, but I just don't think they'll get any shutouts. Like, I think the Islanders are a team that I could see getting a shutout and maybe winning like 2 or 3 games. So whatever, impossible to predict. Anyway, I'm going to take the Islanders.
Boo.
Andrew said he was going to take a team and it wasn't, and he couldn't. And I'm like, I knew he couldn't take the Islanders because they're against the Flyers. I thought for sure Boston was gone. I had Boston.
I couldn't stand being stuck with them. I mean, it would hurt me too much. Nate taking Philly scarred me for life.
For life? Oh my God. This is a 1-week pool, sir.
I'm sorry, Andrew. Sorry.
Also,
I love fantasy hockey.
By the way, I'm very happy to have the Islanders because I have my Islanders hat on, so it all is perfect. I can wear my hat proudly this week and cheer for my team. Who wants to go? Anyone here in Toronto? We got to go to a bar. We got to watch some Islanders games. Let's go. We're going to have some fun.
This is my nightmare. Blair, that was your last pick. You grabbed Blake Coleman while Elon was spouting off about the horrible Islanders. Thank you so much for coming out. It was great to chat with you, and good luck.
Let's talk through his team.
Yeah. So he started out with Kucherov. Or no, I'm looking at your team. God, why is this happening? Started with McKinnon, Bergeron, down to Torrey Krug, then Steven Stamkos. We have Ivan Provorov, Las Vegas, Denis Gurianov, Anthony Cirelli, Andre Kasha, and finally Blake Coleman. Thoughts overall? As we leave the draft, what are you thinking?
My thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
I like the team. I like the defense. I find I have 2 power play, 1 defenseman. So I feel confident that those guys are going to make up some of the points that I might be losing, having some players who might miss a game or 2. But we'll see what happens. Everybody's drafted really good players, and I think everybody's team's pretty strong, and it's just going to have to see how the playoffs play out here and see what happens.
Absolutely. We are now well into Tom's clock, so we're going to jump over to him, skipping over Brian and Elon, who I'm sure will give us their thoughts on their team at some point here. But yeah, Tom, you have Pasternak, you went Makar next, and then you went with Landeskog. Colorado, you were the first player to pick a team. Then you grabbed Seguin, which already has put up some points for you. Palat, Pajot, Yanni Gord, and Charlie Coyle. What are you thinking for your last pick?
I feel like me and Brian are vibing. I go on Boston. I know this pick has been I've been hesitating on it the last couple, but waited to the end, seeing where all the D were kind of sliding. I know I'm going Charlie McAvoy, but shout out to Blair with probably the most hockey response on his team. Super passive there. Love it. Pucks in deep, buddy.
Pucks in deep for sure by Blair. Yeah. That is exactly what we got. Absolutely. All right, so McAvoy finishes out for Tom. Thank you so much for coming by, Tom. Definitely come. Definitely we'll see you this next year in Cacupful. I believe we're in the top tier together.
Game on, buddy. Watch yourself.
All right, Wes, we are back over to you for your final pick. Wes's team, he's got Horvat, Rantanen, Couturier, Beauvillier, Toffoli, DeBrusque, Shea Theodore, Mikhail Sergachev, Tampa Bay, and he finishes off with a hometown pick.
Jake Virtanen. He's the only guy out there. I was just scrolling up and down the list. Man, there's just nobody left. This is a really tough draft at the end. But
now, will
yeah,
you shotgun one for Jake?
Yeah, shotgun Jake.
Will you shotgun one for him though, if he scores?
I definitely will now. Yeah,
okay.
I'll be watching that guy. He better score.
You gotta put that in the group chat. If Virtanen scores, we want to see.
No, man. Let's go big. If Jake Virtanen scores a goal, you've got to make a video of yourself shotgunning that beer and like send it us so we can tweet it out for the world. And all of our
thing.
How about to earn the point on the Jake Virtanen goal? That's a necessary step.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, for every Jake Virtanen goal, you have to.
So if you're listening right now and Jake Virtanen scores, you want to be following us at Keeping Karlsson so you can see Wes's video there. Come on, we'll all do it together.
We'll probably get some Vancouver followers off of that one because that is already quite the trend there. So, Wes, thank you for hanging out with us and good luck.
Yeah, thanks so much. This was fun.
And we have Rob's final pick in. He picked in the 10th round Vancouver. I think that was the final team to go off the board. His team ends up with Barzal, Point, Riley Smith, Burakovsky, Anders Lee, Tyler Johnson, JT Compher, Victor Hedman, Gerard, and Vancouver. Quite a lot of depth pieces from Colorado there. Good luck to Rob, and we will see you online. And then we go back to Nate. Nate, final pick. The last defenseman.
Yeah, the last defenseman. I'm gonna go with, believe it or not, doesn't sound like the right name for this, but he's had the most points per game during the season and during these playoffs of the people left, and it's Alex Edler, and he's on the ice a lot, so get me some secondary assists.
Alex Edler always delivers.
Especially the hits and blocks. I love him in my Bangers League. So,
absolutely. Well, Nate, you picked Besser, Marchessault, Pedersen, Krejci, Bailey, Killorn, Radulov, Shattenkirk, Edler, and Philly. You got a nice little boost from Radulov to start off the round. Hopefully it keeps up. Good luck to you, dude.
Thanks for putting this on, and thanks for having me here.
Yeah, awesome to meet you. Awesome to chat with you. Good luck. And Andrew, the time has come. The last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Your team right now, you got JT Miller, Max Pacioretty, Voracek, Konechny, Tuck, Pavelski, Rupe Hintz, Alec Martinez, and Dallas. And I've just seen your last pick. Why don't you drop it for us?
Okay, it was going to be between him and Sanheim. I know AV has been putting Robert Hagg in the lineup for his physicalness and his heavy hitting. And I know that does match with this series for Long Island. But Ghost's last game that he played when Niski was suspended was his best game I watched him play in 2 years. He didn't make wrong decisions. He kept it at the red line, and he dumped it in. He pinched at the right time. I'm in last place now, so I can't get any worse than what I'm at. So I'm going for the heavy hitter, and I'm hoping Ghost takes that power play 1 spot because Provorov was fumbling the puck. He had to bring it back behind the blue line. He doesn't have that dynamic ability that Ghost has. So maybe AV puts him in the lineup, and I score big. That is a great last pick. I feel really good about it. He could be scratched, or he could be on the power play 1 dominate. But he looked awesome that last game.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, good luck to you in this round, and good luck to your Flyers. Also to the Canucks fans in here. Definitely going to be cheering for you guys, even though Vegas is a tough opponent. What a treat we have heading into the second round of the playoffs. Brian and Elon, thank you guys so much for having me. Ben Burnett at Average Time on Ice, on AVG Time on Ice on Twitter. Looking forward to getting back in the saddle with my co-host Lewis and doing some more shows. But until then, thank you guys so much.
Way to go, Ben. That was awesome.
That
What
was
a fun
great.
draft. Yeah, thanks so much to all of you guys once again for joining us for this live show. I hope the listeners liked it. Tweet at us at Keeping Karlsson. Let's set a public link so people could go and see these draft results. How about I don't know, what do you want?
KeepingKarlsson.com/KKPP.
There it is. KeepingKarlsson.com/KKPP.
Or 3. Because
What's
it's round
that?
3.
Yeah, but it's the only link forward though.
Yeah, well, Ben, let's keep it simple. We got some elderly people listening to the show. We can't give them too many acronyms.
Can elderly people not spell KKPP3?
Well, you don't know if is it the number? Is it the word?
You guys are coming off a little strong against your elderly fan base here.
I would love to get a demographic breakdown of how old our listeners are, because I feel like we're not getting a lot of the 70 plus. Like I haven't heard from any of them, but I'd like to hear if you're 70 plus and you're listening to the show, you've got an invitation to come on an episode.
Maybe that's your iTunes reviewers are the 70 plus crew. That's all they know how to do.
So yeah, Ben, great job. Like I said, good luck, everybody. Only one of us is going to advance to the finals. There's 4 divisions. There's going to be 4 winners. We're going to have the final 4, and Brian and I will obviously break down how that all went. Next week, I'm sure Brian and I will be crap talking each other for our picks for this round and lauding whoever actually is in first. It probably won't be either of us. But yeah, this has been a blast. If you like the show, let us know. Keeping Karlsson on Twitter. We love to hear feedback. If you want to help support the show, a lot of the people here are patrons of Keeping Karlsson. We have a lot of fun right now. You know, any amount of money, throw us $1 a month. We're going to give you whatever we have, access to our patron-only Facebook group. We've got a patron Discord going. We do monthly patron casts. We do fun games like this. Like, I don't know, random stuff comes up. We're trying our best, Brian and I and Ben and Lewis, to make a really fun experience for the patrons. So if you're interested, try it out, keepingkarlsson.com/patron. But with that, let's cue the outro music.
Go Flyers!
Go Flyers. Well, actually, go Islanders. Come on.
Oh,
and
thank you
Brian,
guys.
why don't you go ahead and read us the credits?
Great. I have them ready. I also just want to get the list of everybody who drafted up. So
They're in the room.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure I have the full.
And Rob. It's everyone here and Rob.
Thanks to everyone here and Rob.
And also Danielle is called Wes, actually.
Okay, actually, so that's what was tripping me up, but I didn't want to admit that I hadn't been paying attention to which person I'm missing. Okay, all right. This episode of the Keeping Karlsson Fantasy Hockey Podcast was presented by Dauber Hockey and powered by our patrons. And also a special thank you to all our drafters who showed up. So thank you to Wes, Andrew, Nate, Benjamin, Tom, Blair, and Rob, and of course you, Elon, and myself, and Ben Burnett of Average Time on Ice and Short Shifts for hosting. Logo art by Brandon Weeb. Outro music by Pat Roach. This episode was researched with help from, we all used fan tracks, I guess. I also used Frozen Tools at Dobber Hockey. I used Hockey Reference. I think I went over to Shift Chart, Hockey Viz, Hockey Database are also great places to go for numbers. Natural Stat Trick and Evolving Hockey, also very helpful places. And that's it. Until next time.
Well, I usually like to say, Brian, great job reading those credits. And yeah, I'm looking forward. We're going to come up with, by the way, if anyone has an idea of what you want us to talk about next week, yeah, we could break down like a week of games. That's probably what we'll do, but we're also open to like creative show ideas. So hit us up if you have an idea. But until next week, Brian, I look forward to talking to you then and tell us what to do.
Until next time, keep on keeping Karlsson.
Just one Karlsson left right now in the playoffs. John's gone. Eric's gone. We've just got William.
That's very sad.
Well, good luck to him and to all of you. Goodbye, everybody. Good night.
See you guys.
Okay, well, that's the end of the show, but this was so fun.
Yeah,
Like,
good job.
I feel like no edits. Everyone was just on their A game. Just a couple edits from Brian, and aside from that, I think that it's going to be a smooth thing. I'll get this out tonight.
Hey, I have an admission to make.
Let's hear it.
Max Pacioretty wasn't on my cake. I never picked him. He was auto drafted. Because my first one was auto drafted and it automatically went to the next auto draft. Because JT Miller, I was going to pick him anyway, so I just let it skate right through, and I forgot to change it because it automatically does that. It did it to me for Stamkos last round, and hey, I'm here, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so maybe it'll work out. I guess like Fantrax sometimes messes with people. Like we'll definitely have to make sure afterwards that like we still have the teams that we expect to have.
Hey, that's all right though. Hey, it worked out.
Pacioretty's not a bad pick.
Oh
Yeah,
no, for sure.
He started off slow, but he drove the bus all year for them in the regular season.
He was taken high in the other divisions also. Like it definitely wasn't an out of place pick. So
Yeah.
nothing to be ashamed of there.
Yeah, you're definitely
Cool.
not a Habs fan though, because you would never have picked him.
Which is horrible. He never got any respect there.
I thought you guys were gonna bite on the goalies. I was hoping to go goalie to get people going, but no
That's
one
not
bought.
Carter Hart, man. He's a different character. He's weird, kinda. He's weirder than Holtby.
I was just kind of thinking like I kind of like the Islanders, so I thought, and I knew they'd fall to the end, so that's why I didn't pick a goalie. Like it wasn't because I didn't think they could be useful. It's just like I had the one that I wanted. I thought I have a feeling that's probably what other people were thinking also.
Yeah, and for the most
maybe
part, you can only get like 4 points. Like, and a lot of people only get 2, 3. So
Yep.
It was just the paranoia. Nate really shook me up because I really didn't think he was going to take Philly.
Oh no, you guys are.
And then I had no
Game
plan.
there.
Guard for life.
3 other leagues drafted.
What's that?
The 3 other leagues draft.